Okay, so thank you so much, people, for joining in. So this is the document understanding series, and this is the first session in the series. We are calling this series the DU Days, right? And I'm a speaker, Mukesh Kala. So a bit introduction about myself. My name is Mukesh Kala. I am a 3 times UiPath MVP. I'm leading the Delhi chapter. This session is happening in the Delhi chapter. I have speaker from Mumbai, Colombo, and Mumbai and Colombo speaker as well. So it's a kind of a co-hosted event. I am a certified trainer, speaker, and presently working as a RPA manager at a company called Boundless Group. You can connect me via LinkedIn, and I do have a YouTube channel called Tutorials by Mukesh Kala. So in case you guys are joining the session for the first time and you are not already part of the Delhi NCR chapter, so this is the link, and this is a WhatsApp group as well, which we have. So we have a dedicated WhatsApp group for UiPath Delhi NCR meetup. You can scan this group so that whenever any meetup is happening on this chapter, you will directly get a notification on your mobile phone as well. Alternatively, you can also join directly the Delhi NCR group, right? All the links, everything would be available for you in the chats after some time. Okay. So these are the two, and the WhatsApp group, I'll just give you 10 seconds so that you guys can scan from your mobile and join the group, right? There are already a couple of members who are already part of the group. So happy to include you also there. Okay. So a bit about this document understanding series, guys. So this is a continuous 5-day series. When I say continuous 5-day series, we are not taking any breaks. So today is Monday, 20th of November. We are having the first session where we are talking about introduction to document understanding. I would be the speaker, Mukesh. Tomorrow, we would be talking about the architecture, framework, and the generative AI happening on Tuesday, 21st of November. The speaker would be Vino. Then I have the third session where we would be doing a hands-on, where we'll be creating attended plus unattended use case. Here, the speaker would be our friend Pradeep. Then I have the day 4 where we would be having the model training in the document understanding. It would be happening on Thursday, and the speaker here is Lahiru. And on the last day of the event, which is the day 5 on Friday, we would be talking about the academy learning plans, the DU certificate, specialized AI, some use cases, and we would be answering all of your Q&As, right? So here we have speaker like Melissa, who is from UiPath Academy. I have Lahiru, and I would invite some more speakers to answer all of your queries, right? So this is the complete agenda of this event. So we have the community page where all of these events are available. To get the RSVP link and the meeting invite, I would request you guys to register for individual sessions, right? So please do go to this page. I'll share the links again in the chat so that you can register all of that. Okay. And that is it. This link would be available for you in the chat. You just go to this link and you just have to register for the individual events. Okay. And before I get to the session, I just want to invite Rohit for a quick introduction, and he want to give you some insights on the MVP program. Yeah, over to you, Rohit.
Awesome. Thank you, Mukesh. Thank you for setting it up. Thank you all for joining in. Really excited to see the energy and excitement and curiosity towards the document understanding series. So before we continue, I just wanted to talk a bit about the UiPath community's MVP program. Just wanted to get a sense from the audience. How many of you know or have heard about this MVP program? You can just raise hand, or you can just paste on chat that yes, I've heard, or something like that, so that I know how much I need to cover. If you don't know, you can say no. That's also fine. Yes, yes, no, Sumit. Yes, no, no. Okay, perfect. So as there are a few people who don't know, I have heard but don't know its significance. Okay. Perfect. So thank you so much for answering. So MVP stands for the most valuable professionals. So UiPath community recognizes every year a bunch of super contributors in our community, and we recognize them with a platform called the most valuable professional. It's an award that we give. It's an yearly program. What we look for is the contributions that a community member has done in the community over a period of a year, and we kind of vet that, evaluate that, and we also look at your technical expertise, and a very select few people from the globally get recognized as the UiPath MVP for that particular year. So when I say contribution, what does that mean? Contribution can be anything. You have some knowledge and you have the willingness to share it with others. That's all what a contribution is all about. You can choose any medium that you want. Some of the contributors today have their own YouTube channels on which they are doing it. Some of them are not very good or not very comfortable in terms of speaking on a mic or speaking in front of a camera. So but they're good writers. So some of them write good quality technical blogs consistently. It can be for UiPath community blog, or it can be on their own Medium channel. Some of them are hyperactive on forum and giving solutions to many people, and so on and so forth. Some of them are very active on Insider and giving good quality product feedbacks regularly. So there is no limits on what you should do, and these are the three, four things that you can do. You can do anything in terms of contributing, but showcase how you are benefiting people around you and helping them in their skilling or in their updation of the technology, and how you are promoting the adoption of UiPath product in the world. So feel free to go through this page. I will share the link to this. You can also scan this QR code and get access to the page. You will see in detail about what the program is all about. I've just given a very, very brief snippet. Please do go through it, and if it interests you, do register for it and apply for the MVP program. There is a chance that you might not have done much contribution earlier in this year, but that is fine. At least when you go through the form, you will at least know what is the expectation from you by UiPath, and we can kind of guide you for the program that will happen through the course of the year, so that you can have a better chance of getting in next year as well. So go with an open mind. Any queries that you have, feel free to reach out to anyone from community, and we'll be happy to support you over there. I'll share the link to this in the chat. So over to you, Mukesh. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Rohit. So, guys, this is a good chance for you to apply for an MVP program, and happy to answer any of your queries. So if you have any questions on this MVP program, please do reach out to Rohit, or you can reach out to me. If I'm not able to answer, I'll pass the query to Rohit. Okay. So with that, let's start with today's session. And guys, all of this link, yeah, okay, there is one common question which I want to answer. The recording of this session would be available on the same page where you have registered for this event, right? So it would be available on the same page, also on the UiPath community YouTube channel as well. Okay. Cool. So having said that, let's get started, right? So the first thing is we are covering the topic of document understanding, right? And I believe some of us who are joining these sessions are absolute beginner. They have no idea what is this document understanding. Why do I even require it, right? So the session is planned in such a way that you would get the complete knowledge in a step-by-step manner. So today's session is going to be a fundamental session where we are going to set up the basics, the beginner blocks for the document understanding, right? So let's take the first word. What exactly is a document? So whenever I talk about a document, it is a form of information stored among a set of users. It is a set of information which can be saved and which can be retrieved. When I say a document, it can be any document, any PDF document, Word file, any document where you store information. Where are the businesses? All of us are in IT, so we understand that law, media, education, government, everywhere we have something which is called documents, right? So that is the basic, that what exactly is a document. Moving ahead, when we talk about documents, it is of different types, right? Not every document is of the same type. And broadly, if I have to categorize it to categories, I can say that documents are of three types: structured, semi-structured, and the unstructured. When I say structured format, it means that the information is exactly in a precise format. So, for example, when you filled up the form, right? When you went to this event page and we click on the RSVP, all of us got the same form: first name, last name, company information, email ID, phone number, and the register button. So we ask for some information, and that was in a strictly precise format. User fill the details, the fixed format, and the best part is it works on the value of key value format. It works on the concept of key value pair, which means that if I am registering, name would be Mukesh. For Rohit, the name would be Rohit. For Vino, the name would be Vino. For us, we would have different company. So structured means something where we have something which is called a key and a value pair. It does not change. Some example are survey, questionnaire, registration forms, right? So all of these are the documents which are structured documents. Now, if I just move one step ahead, there is something which is called semi-structured document. Semi-structured means that does not follow a strict format and it can be changed. Sometimes it may contain paragraph. It says that in the structured one, we have everything in a key value pair. In the semi-structured, I can say that some of the information is in a key value pair, but there is some additional information which is not in a key value pair. So that's why it is called semi-structured, such as invoices, receipts, purchase orders, bank statement, utility bills. To take an example, if let's say I am creating an invoice, right? So the top header of the invoice might be same, that yes, you are purchasing it from the XYZ departmental store, your name is this, your ID is this. But when it comes to the item, sometimes the description of the item would be blank, sometimes it would be different. The table where the data is there, it can be different, it can vary. Semi-structured, right? And the last one is called the unstructured, which does not have any format at all. No key value pair, nothing. It is just organized into an unstructured manner. It might have key value pair, but most of the time it is just organized as a paragraphs, right? And examples of such thing are contracts, leases, annual reports, news, right? Where you do not have these fixed formats, right? And now whenever we talk about any automation and I am getting documents, I may get structured, semi-structured, unstructured, or can get an automation where I'm getting a combination of all of three, right? So that's document types. Okay, let's move forward. This I want to show how the structured, semi-structured, and unstructured documents look like. Okay, so this is called the structured. Sometime you would also refer, when you are going through the course, somebody might refer, other speaker might refer it as a low diversity documents, which is having very less diversity in terms of the form, right? So as you can see, this is a form written of private foundation. This is a form we have to fill in data, everything is structured, name of the foundation, everything has proper blocks, right? So this is one example of the structured documents, everything in a fixed format. Now when you say this is a fixed format, information can be handwritten, information can be filled by pen, information can be digitally signed, right? So that's a different topic altogether. But the first thing which we want to understand is that this is something which is called a structured or a low diversity document, right? Now this is an example of semi-structured document that does not follow a structure. It has some structure, key values pair, but some places it might be different, right? It can have some data which is in a form of paragraphs, bank reports, lab reports, utility bills, right? So this is a place where you would find this information. And one example of the semi-structured document you are seeing on the screen is this one, right? The last one is an unstructured document, as I told, contract, leases, reports, and this is an example, right? So if you see, most of the documents would fall into these three categories, right? Apart from these three categories, there is one more thing which we need to understand is that it can be scanned, which is in a scanned format where we cannot select the data, or it can be a digital document. So we can have a document which is in a form which is structured, but this is scanned, semi-structured, scanned, editable, right? So that's a different category, scan, unscanned, and this is the category of the document. Okay. So till this point, we have covered the three basic high level type of the documents. Now, if I have to extract some of the information, right? So in UiPath document understanding, this is a concept where we are actually going to extract the data from the documents, right? We'll talk about DU in a bit moment. That's where we are going, but we need to first understand the basics, right? So this, you can see, this is a registration form, right? So let me point a laser here, right? So this is a registration form for first user. So the first user came, Mukesh, he included his email address, he included his phone number. The second user came, he put his name, email ID, and the phone number. So This information, if it is getting stored in some documents, I can easily rely on the extraction via patterns. It is structured data. I can do string manipulation. I can write and regex, right? So all of us, I believe, have some experience on UiPath. So let's say I ask you that, hey guys, you have to extract this information. You would say that I would write in logic where I say that extract the name wherever you find your name. Extract the email address wherever you find this. Your phone number would be this. Rule-based, structured, form, fixed definition, do string manipulation, rejects and everything, right? Now, what happens if the field change its position, right? So here it was extremely rule based, right? Guys, if you're not speaking, can you please go on mute? That would help. Yeah, thank you. So event registration, this was exactly structured document we did with the help of string manipulation regex. But there is a challenge with the rule-based extraction. What happens if it changes? So in the first form, the user was asking include your email address. And here you say email address and that moved to first position. Your name is here, but here it says insert your name. So the form is same, but the position changed. Now what happened? If you have written some logic with the help of string manipulation, regex or anything, you have to change your automation. As a human, I can see that yes, your phone number and reachable at is the same thing, right? But what is the challenge for a robot or for an automation? It is closely tied up to the document layout. It works on the fixed format. Any change in the layout will break and require you the reconfiguration, right? So that's a challenge when it comes to the rule-based extraction. Now, what is the solution? Solution again is something which is called a model-based data extraction. I use a technology which is called machine learning, where I teach the machine that, hey, Mr. Machine, if somebody says your phone number and reachable at, that means they are the same thing. But what exactly is the expertise required? You would require a good ML developers. You require time to develop the ML skill. You require a retraining, right? So document was there, we have the solution, and the solution also has something where we require a little bit of more expertise to extract the information, right? So that was a base of this complete document understanding, that what happened. And then there was a new concept, not a new concept, it was an old concept which was called OCR, right? So all the documents which I talked about, fixed format, semi-structured, unstructured, can be in two formats. One, it can be digital where you can select the data, or somebody can just take a photo or scan the documents. Now, we have a technology which is called OCR, known as the optical character recognition, which allow us to read the data from images. So whenever you scan something, you read the data from images, right? So we had scanned PDFs, we have the digital data, we have different type of formats, and then we had a technology which was called OCR, which was getting and extracting this data, right? For the people who have done the UiPath Developer Foundation, this is nothing but the output method, right? Where you have a scanned PDF, you read the data with the help of OCR. If you have a PDF, you just do the OCR engine, extract the information and do the manipulation and then come out, right? Now, where exactly document understanding is fitting in this picture, right? So document understanding is the ability to extract and interpret the information. I'm not talking only about extraction. I'm also talking about interpreting the information in a wide variety of documents, images, PDFs, and the best part is it can work on the other objects like handwritten signatures, checkbox, logos. If I'm just using an OCR and let's say there is a form where the person has just tick mark on the form. When you read it with the OCR engine might read it as a question mark or any special characters. Then it does not help you. Document understanding is an ability or to extract the information. Now, this diagram depicts that you have something which is called RPA, robotic process automation, where you do all the automation. Now, you might be thinking, if I'm doing document understanding, why do I require RPA? The answer is simple. Think of a scenario where all the documents are embedded inside an email. So the automation has first go to the email, download all the attachments, keep it in a folder, and then apply the document understanding, right? So you require RPA to go to the mailbox, to the Outlook, go to the particular folder, extract the documents, keep it in a folder, and then apply the document understanding. You have AI layer to do the ML thing, and then you have something which is called document processing, which we are going to talk in this series, right? So this is an overall idea of document understanding. Now, to talk about what are the problems document understanding is solving, right? So we see that yes, structured, unstructured data is there. It is able to extract, right? But is there any industry level problem which DU is solving? The answer to that question is yes, right? So problem statement is people are manually extracting, interpreting, and taking the actions. The solution is I apply document understanding, which is using artificial intelligence to understand the documents, extract, interpret, and everything is using the AI. The second problem is there are different kind of documents and there are some images which are low quality. The scanned quality is not so good. Now, the solution includes algorithm which can classify the documents, and the algorithm also handle the low quality images. The third problem was increased cost and time consumption, right? So if there is some person who is doing this, definitely he's going to take more time as compared to the robot. And sometime it might happen that we require some kind of human intervention, right? So the robot is not 100% sure that, hey, I have extracted this information and I am 80% sure that this is correct. With document understanding, you have a concept where you can include humans in the loop, which means that the robot will work, it will extract the information, it will send an email to Mukesh saying that, hey, Mukesh, this is the information which I extracted. I am 90% sure that the name is Mukesh Kala. Can you confirm? I say confirm. It takes my input and do. If I say it's not, it will say correct it and then it continues, right? So you have an option to include humans in the loop as well. That is also we are going to see that how it works in the attended and in unattended mode, right? Session 3. The fourth problem statement is if different people are doing, they might do a rework. Human work varies. If I am doing it, I might do it differently. If my friend is doing it, he might do it differently. DU solution is fast, time efficient solution, advanced document understanding framework, minimize the variation of the human works. And last one is the important one. Most solutions are partial and not end to end, right? Whenever we talk about document processing solution, we might have any other solution which is able to do that, but that is only just processing that part of the problem statement. So if I am in a company and I have a very big automation which is having 10 step, and the document processing is only happening in the step number 4 and 5. So you might have a solution different than this, which is only doing 4 and 5. What about the complete process automation from 1 to 10, right? You need robots to extract the information. It may be in the SharePoint, email, databases. It may be in the website where you have to download the invoices. RPA UiPath does the complete end-to-end automation, right? So, and the best part, it is all infused with AI. So you get a complete solution. So what does DU solve? All of this problem is what DU is able to solve, right? I'll take a pause, guys, and just let me know in the chats. Are you guys able to follow along that what exactly is DU and what problem it is solving and why it is so important, right? Just let me know in the chat. You can say yes or no. Okay, just wait for 5 more seconds. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, I see a good response. So I think you are able to follow along. That's great, right? And yeah, please elaborate the last point. I'll do that. Okay. So most solutions are partial and end-to-end, right? So this is a question where say what exactly is an end-to-end solution. So for example, I have an automation process which start by going to a website, let's say Amazon.com. I have to extract all the invoices of my orders which I have placed in last 1 year. Then from that invoices, I have to get the item, the cost when it was delivered and all those information, and I have to put it in a database. If I am only using a solution which is processing the invoices, what I will do is I would still require a human to go to Amazon, download those invoices, keep it in a folder for the document solution to process and then do the manipulation. And then when I have extracted, I require one more solution which can infuse the data into a database. With UiPath document understanding and RPA UiPath complete platform, I am able to make this complete automation. So what I'll do, I will write an UiPath robot, which will go to the Amazon web scraping, extract the information, put it in that. Then I can schedule or trigger with the help of queues, queue trigger, attended trigger, unattended trigger, entirely depends on your automation. You can just go trigger a robot. That robot will do the information, extract this information, connect native integration to the database, and directly put this information. So what you are getting is an end-to-end automation and not just a partial automation. And the best part, wherever the robot is not able to do, you have the support of artificial intelligence in all the phases of the RPA lifecycle. Okay, so that is it. Okay, let's move forward. And guys, I have just posted my LinkedIn on the chat, right? So in case you guys are liking this session, feel free to post about this session, and please do include your friends, colleagues. Tell them about that there is a series which is going on, and just tag them, right? So that they also can attend the upcoming sessions. Okay, so these are the challenges. Let's talk about the DU, right? So okay, I have one more question here, right? How many of you are aware of Robotics Enterprise Framework, right? RE framework, right? Have you heard of it? Have you used it, right? Just say yes or no. Robotics Enterprise Framework. Okay, okay. There is some no. So I'll just cover. So most of the people have already used this and utilized it, right? What is a framework? So framework is something, let's say if I have to write an automation, right? I can go to my UiPath Studio, I can create a new sequence and write down automation. That is a usual way of doing it. The other way is there is a framework which is created for me, which is whenever I write an automation with the help of a sequence, I have to do the logging, I have to do the exception handling, I have to think what I should do, where the data would be extracted, what would be the next step, exception handling, logging, a lot of things I have to take care. There is a concept which is called framework. An example of the framework is RE framework, which actually gives you a kind of a layout, which means that it tells you that, hey, these are the blocks which you need to follow and you would be able to accomplish. So a framework is a design, it's a kind of a template where you just go and you put your information and everything else is taken care by the UiPath robots for you. DU has something which is called a document understanding framework, which combines both the rule-based and the model-based approach. Please understand this line. DU is a framework which combine both the rule-based and the model-based. When I say rule-based, I am talking about the structured extraction. And when I'm talking about the model base, I am talking about the AI infused data. And DU is taking care of everything, both, sorry, not everything, that rule based as well as the model based approach. If I have to talk about the stages, right, or not the stages, or I would say just let's talk about stages, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the 7 stages what you do in an DU. The first thing is taxonomy. You tell the robot what information I require. Okay, so whenever you are starting an automation, right, the robot does not know whether the document which Rohit has given is an invoice, is a receipt, is a passport, what information is it, right? So first thing, as a developer, you go and you tell the framework that, hey, this is the information I want to extract. I want to extract the first name, last name, total, the country, and all. Done. Do you understand that? Okay, yes, this is what I need to do. The second thing what happens is digitize the text. Here, if you see, I have mentioned OCR. Why? Because now DU does not know whether the document which you are going to provide, is it going to be a scanned one or is it going to be a normal editable PDF. So here, the next stage is the digitize, where if your data is already in a digitized mode, which means you can select, copy, paste it, it's already digitized. But in case it is not, you use OCR engines, you can use have different OCR engines and you digitize the data. So the step one is you tell what to extract. Step two is you obtain the data, obtain the text, which means the complete text. Okay, I have not still got the selected information, I just got the complete text. The third one is the classify. Identify the document type. Now, why this step is important and what is this? You might have an automation where you are dealing with one kind of documents, let's say receipts or password. But think about an automation where you are dealing with different type of documents, contract, invoices, receipts, PO. So in the taxonomy now, in the step one, while defining what to extract, you have to also define what are the different kind of documents you are expecting. And the same will happen in the classify. Once you classify it in the classify stage, the DU framework will see the, okay, so Mukesh in the taxonomy has defined that he can have invoices, receipts, and this. And here it will identify that, okay, the input which you have given me is this. And then once the classification is done, then it will extract the information, whatever you have put it in the taxonomy, right? So taxonomy, digitization, classification, and extraction. Extract the information. Now, whenever it extract the information, 100% accurate, confirmed, the robot says that, hey, I am 100% accurate that this is the correct information. But sometime it is having a dilemma. Sometimes it says that, hey, I am not sure that this, whatever I have extraction I have done it properly, right? Because it's a model. So he says that, okay, I'm 85% confident that the total is 100, but can you validate? So what would happen? The robot will create a task for the humans in the loop. I'll get an email, I can get a notification that will discuss how that happens, but you have an option where the robots and the humans are working together to validate what data is extracted. Once I confirm the robot is 100% confident, we simply have to export the extracted data. And once extraction is done, we have an option to improvise the train and the improvise. What is this train and improvise? As we know that we are using the model based approach where we have artificial intelligence infused. So in case there is something which needs to be retrained, the retraining also happens in this same framework, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? So these are the 7 stages which would happen into the document understanding framework. Okay, let's move forward. What exactly is this, right? So all this, whatever I have done now here, this is what it happens, right? I'll just quickly skim through so that, and all of these slides, everything would be available for you guys to refer, right? So you can refer it afterwards also. In the taxonomy, it's a pre-processing step. We define what kind of document data we want to extract. You can have multiple documents type. For example, invoices, vendor, total, and this. If I have invoices and medical forms, for invoices, I say, hey, I want to extract the vendor and the total. With the medical form, I want to extract the insured ID and the patient name, right? So that's what you define in the taxonomy. In the digitization, every document one by one will go through the digitization process. You can have scan document where you have to apply the OCR. If the OCR is not there, then you can simply go and directly digitize the document. Okay. Classification, what kind of document it is. You can have multiple classifiers. We'll see also that. Extraction is just extracting the information and putting it back for the next stage, which is the validation. Confirm the extracted results, right? So now you can have a human user, which is called the validation station. This is a part of action center, humans in the loop, right? Export the data. You can export the results, say in an Excel or a CSV. And then at the last, you can just retrain the model, right? So these are the steps in a framework which you are going to see. Now, as an RPA developer, if you have a DU project, right, you have to get start. You can get start from a new completely blank project and you can put all of these one by one, right? Like this, right? Or other way is something which is called template, which I'm going to discuss, right? The first thing for you guys is to remember that these are the things which you are going to see in this thing, right? Okay, so somebody has asked a question, what is document object model, right? So whenever you digitize the data, the output of the digitization, right? What is the output? The output of the digitization would be a document object model and a string variable containing all the document that are passed down the steps. So okay. So okay, I'll just answer Nalini your question in a bit moment. Let me first do the document object model, right? So DOM is a document object model which would have all the information in a digitized form and the output would be a string variable, right? So DOM will have all the information How does it look like when I open the DU application? I'll show you, but you can just think it as an object model which is of a type string variable, which has all the information whichever you have extracted from the document. It can be in the digital format or it can be in a scanned format. If it is a scanned format, you will apply the OCR engine. Okay, can you brief about the action center? Action center, as the name suggests, action center, right? So for example, take an example, who was that? Nalini, right? So Nalini is working in a company and you are manually processing 100 documents and we return a robot to process that 100 documents. Now once the robot is doing, sometimes the robot is 100% confident that okay, all these 100 documents, I have to extract this information, all the receipts are there and everything is done and perfectly fine. One fine day the robot is not 100% sure that whatever data I have extracted, he is getting confused, right? So 95 documents, he was 100% confident. When it came to the 96 document, it says that, hey, I am getting some confusion, right? So what it will do, it will create a task for Nalini in the action center, which is a different product of UiPath integrated in the orchestrator. So a task would be created for Nalin, right? Same like we have a task in our Jira or anywhere you get a task, you will assign a task in the orchestrator. You will get an email that, hi user, the robot has created a task for you. Can you validate if this processing is correct or not? You will simply go to the orchestrator, click on that. It will show you the extracted result. You can correct it, accept, reject, and then it will move forward, right? So yeah, we'll share this document. That's absolutely okay. So now what I have shown you in this one was the stages, right? Now if I talk about how does these stages work together, right? How does these stages work together? Which come first, which come second, which come third, right? So if you see here, you have something, and this is important for us to understand, right? So we have something which is called UiPath Studio here. In the UiPath Studio, we have something which is called document understanding. I'll talk about this, but just remember that in the UiPath Studio as a developer, you are just going and coding it. So you have various activities, you drag and drop, you code everything, and you have the taxonomy manager, which means that you define what type of document it is and what data you want to extract, right? So this all of that is available from UiPath Studio. So in the UiPath Studio, you have document types, field processing, and you have something which is called taxonomy. Once this is done, all this data is going to the digitize stage. Right now, what happens in the digitization? You use an OCR to make it machine readable. You have to use something which is called OCR engine, which is customizable again, right? You can use your own OCR engine. Once it is digitized, the data is passed to the next step, which is called the classification. Now, in the classification, here you have something which is called the UiPath AI Center. Build, train, deploy the model. You can have the classifiers, different type of classifiers which are available in UiPath, right? So we'll see what are the different type of classifiers available in this one. I'll tell you how they work, right? So as of now, just remember that when you come to classification, it connects to UiPath AI Center. Here you can, AI Center is a place where you build, train, and deploy the AI models. From here, you use any kind of classifiers. Now, after this classification is done, sometime what might happen, the robot is not very confident that, okay, the information which I have classified, I classify it as an invoice, but I'm not confident. So what the robot will do, it will create a task for the human here. See, validate UiPath action center, orchestrator, create a task. The human will go, it will validate, and it will confirm, right? When it confirm, the whatever I have confirmed, you can again retrain the model, which is again the UiPath Action Center, and then again the confirmed data come back to the classify stage. So humans in the loop can be happening, can happen at the classify level as well, where the robot is not able to classify whether it's a passport, invoice, or what. Once done, validated by the human, it goes to the next step, which is called the extraction, where you actually go and extract the information. Now, same like classifier, you have different kind of extractors also available. ML extractor, regex extractor, all of that are available for you here. Again, a part of the AI center. Now, once the information is extracted, the same thing again happens. It is not sure go to the validation, UiPath Action Center, train the data, come back. So see here, this loop can happen during the extraction, and the same loop can happen during the classification as well. So classification, extraction, and it comes here and train and got back. Once everything is done, it will again go here and it will give you the extracted data here. Now this extracted data is mentioned here outflow, right? It will generate an Excel. That Excel, you can send it via an email. You can use this Excel, put it into some data, put it into CSV, load it into database, or use it into for the next kind of automation, right? So whatever you see on the top first half, which is highlighted in this orange color, this is your design. And all of this, what you see here, this happens on the runtime. So this is what happened in the design time, and this happens on the runtime, right? Then you have, what are the components which you are using? You are using UiPath Studio to code the DU. You are using Action Center to manage and validate the classifier validation. You are using Action Center, and then you are using UiPath Orchestrator, where you will manage the robots, and the UiPath robot, which is actually going to execute the automation. It can be attended or it can be unattended, right? So this is how all the 7 components are working together. Okay. I'll take a pause. Are you guys following along with me? Just say yes or no in the chat, and then we can move forward. Great. Cool. Now, so yeah, this is just a slide which is a addition to this digitized form. So I think I already covered, but let me just tell you guys, all documents, whichever we have to process, can be native or it can be scanned. They must have to go through this digitization state, right? While the OCR is not same as document understanding, we still need an OCR engine, right? So the what is OCR? It's an engine that will extract the information and gives the data for the digitization, right? So what exactly is a digitization now? Now here, sorry, my bad. Here we talk about this. Now let's talk more about these stages. In the digitization, if it is a human readable or if it is a scanned, it has to go through a digitization stage, and it gives you the data which is used again for the next set of stages. Now, when it digitizes, what actually happens in the background? It gets the XY coordinate. Where is the X and where is the Y? By getting the text directly from the native PDF documents. Here it says native PDF document, which means they are editable. When it's not editable, you are going to use the OCR, right? So in the digitization stage, all you do is you extract the information. Now, one thing which you guys need to remember, it in the digitization of the documents, handwritten text, checkboxes, signature, barcodes are also extracted depending on what kind of OCR engine you are using. And as an RPA developer, you have an option to use any OCR engine of your choice. Okay. Now, OCR is able to extract the text and metadata from all the documents. Now, how is an OCR deployed, right? So I told about OCR that while in the digitization, you are doing the digitization and you have to use an OCR. Now, question you might have is that how would I deploy an OCR and what are the options which are available for me? Okay, so document understanding framework, there are 3 default engines which are available for you by default: UiPath Document OCR, UiPath Chinese, Japanese, Korean OCR, and Cofex OmniPage activity pages, right? So these OCR engines are available by default for you. So all the customers use this UiPath OCR for printed text, checkbox, handbook return, barcode, QR, etc. If that is not able to do, you can go here and utilize it. However, if your document is not able to give you the proper data with these results, there is some OCR engine integration options which is available. These are all the additional information. In case you feel that the Azure CV is giving you proper result, you can use that as an integration. You can use Tesseract, you can use Microsoft, Azure, Google Cloud, OmniPage, and all of this. It just by drag and drop, provide the API key, and you would be able to use the OCR engines, right? So by default, these are the 3 things which are available, and the integration is available for all of them. Okay. Now, whenever there is a PDF, right? So I want to talk about one settings, right? So this is a setting which I wanted to talk. So you can just see here, right? So let's talk about PDF, right? If I'm talking about a scanned document, so I would talk about the PDF, right? So here is a PDF. Now, whenever you are doing the digitization, you have a setting which is called apply OCR on or off. So if you have this setting, if that setting is passed to no, it will scrape the native text, which means just like using a read PDF text activity, right? So the people who are coming from the UiPath background, you would have seen that to read the PDF, I have read PDF and read PDF with OCR. So if I say read PDF is to no, it will scrape the text. But if I say this setting to n, yes, it will invoke the OCR engine. Both of these setting combine the result, detect the column, and all of this is happening in the digitization, and that goes to the outgoing workflow. Whenever you are talking about the DU, you would heard this term ingoing and outgoing workflow. Outgoing workflow means after that you can connect to the different blocks of the DU framework, right? So digitization output will be XY coordinate. You have these settings where you can mark it to yes or no. And in one document, you can mark it to either yes or no, right? And one more thing to addition of all of that, now you also have the generative AI capabilities such as the GPT language models, which are helping you to get this digitization more proper as well, right? So all of that is also be part of the upcoming session, right? But just to let you know that we have now the Gen AI capabilities also available for digitizations. Okay. Now, this is, guys, can you go on mute, please, if you're not speaking? Thank you. Okay, so if I talk about the available OCR engines, so this is a one stop. This is a one grid where you can see all the information which is available.
Gish,
Yeah,
I know all those APIs are free to use, like whatever
no,
we want to.
no. Some of them are free and some of them you need to purchase the license. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this grid is also available on the UiPath documentation for you to refer, right? So what these OCR engines can detect, what it can do, what are the languages, wherever it says tick, you can do that. Wherever it says cross, you cannot do that, right? And more information about those is always available on the UiPath documentation. Okay, now, so I have done the digitization. The next stage in the DU was the classification. What happens in the classification? See, if you see this diagram, you have multiple documents, you have a robot. The robot do the classification and says that, hey, you have an invoice, you have a purchase order, you have a receipts, and there are some documents which are unrelated. Now, you might be thinking, why exactly do is the classification importance? Because as I have mentioned, whenever we talk about an enterprise level DU solution, you might have one automation solution getting different kind of documentation. So once you have digitized with the help of the previous OCR engines, you would need to go here and see what exactly is coming into what part, right? So digitization will classification will simply classify the multiple documents, right? Now, when it comes to classification, how does the DU actually classify? So in the classifiers, we have three different type of classifiers: keyword-based classifiers, intelligent keyword classifiers, and document classifier, also known as the ML classifier, right? So these are the three classifier which is available for you. Where exactly it is? So whenever you create a DU solution, you create a new studio solution, right? Whenever you use this dependency, studio intelligent OCR dot activities, so the people who are coming from little bit of experience on UiPath, you understand that whenever I require some activity, I need to include the package, right? So where is this available? This is available on this package. So these are the packages. What does it do well? It can class keyword classifiers, working on the keywords where you have the fixed format, right? Classify documents exhibiting specific words which are known in advance. By default, you know in advance that yes, I need to extract the name, first name, invoice. Go with the keyword classifier. Can it split the document packs? No. Is it retrainable? Yes, right? Grid is self-explanatory. You can see that what intelligent would be able to do, what exactly the ML would able to do, right? So these are the three different classifiers which you can utilize when you are classifying the document. Also, the predefined classifiers are also available with an ML package. So UiPath also give you some of the pre-trained classifier. This is the public endpoint du.uipath.com classify/ML classification. You can use this. This is available as an endpoint. You use it in your automation and you would be able to use your own classifier as well, right? So this session, guys, I am not going into much detail of what exactly this thing is doing. We are just taking the overview of the DU model so that when you come tomorrow, you don't have this basic question like what is this classifier? Why did you use the intelligent classifier, right? So the next slide talk about keyword based to ML based classification, right? So keyword based classification, and how does this ML based classification looks like? You have a document source, you digitize, you classify the data. It can be keyword based, where you say key value pair. It can be intelligent keyword based, classify, extract, verify, export, and that's it, right? And in the classification, you can also use the ML classifier, which is machine learning classifier. You would require the endpoint for it, right? Now here, till this point, we have covered the three stages, right? The next stages is called the extraction, where you have to extract the information. Now, if I have to extract the information from whatever I have, I can use these four methods. Regex, regular expression, where you have complete set of data. I want the phone number. I just write a regular expression, say that, hey, extract this information. I have a long piece of information. I want to extract only the email. I say that, hey, this is the regex for email, extract it. I have form extractor, forms AI, and semi-structured AI as well. And this diagram talks about in UiPath Studio, you can use the regex extractor, form extractor as an RP developer. If I talk about specifically of the document understanding, you have the forms AI and the semi-structured AI. And this guy is a citizen developer, right? So citizen developer again is a different topic, but just to give a little bit background. So document understanding is also available for the citizen developers who are using Studio Web. You do not have to know more about this, the coding and all, but you can still use the DU framework in the Studio Web, which is absolutely low code platform used by the citizen developer to drag and drop Studio X or Studio Web, right? Extractor, the same grid which I have in the classification, the same grid is available here. Where is the extractor? Which package it will be available and what information do you want to extract? Okay. I'll just park this. The thing which till this point I talked about was the DU framework, right? Now let me go back to I'll just minimize this for a while, okay? And I'll go to my UiPath Studio. Now, today, if I have to create a new process or new project in document understanding, right? So guys, you are able to see my UiPath Studio, right? Can you just let me know in the chat? Yes, okay, great. So today, I have to create a new process of DU in UiPath. What should I do? I'll go and I'll, based on my presentation, right? Based on my presentation, whatever the dependencies I have, let's see. I'll just open this, I'll minimize. Yeah. So one way is that I go to my UiPath Studio, I go here, I create a new process, absolutely blank process. I call this as a document understanding process, right? And then I import all these activities which are available here. Like let's say I want to do classification. I'll go to my studio. I'll include UiPath.intelligent OCR activities, this package, this thing I'll include, right? Then I want to do extraction. I'll go to UiPath Studio and I will include all these packages and I'll get the activities for me to drag and drop, right? The other way is, wouldn't it be good if I get a solution which has already imported all of this and it is available for me as a template, right? So that as a developer, I have everything which I require for a DU solution. So now two ways to do it. Go there, include all of that one by one as per a requirement, or get started with something which is called a template. So if I go to my UiPath Studio, I can create a new process, go here and start it. The other way is if you come down to the new from template where you have something which is called attended robotics enterprise framework, you have something which is called the document understanding process, which is also known as the DU template. If I click on it, you can see that create a business process that follow the best practices for large scale deployment of document processing use case, right? So you can create it by fresh, all those components, drag and drop it individually, or you can use this guy, which is called document understanding framework. I have already created it. I'll just open this one, right? Because it takes some time to download the dependencies, right? So all you have to do is you can just go there and you can load the template, right? So meanwhile that template is loading, let's talk about what exactly that template is, right? So you go to the UiPath Studio, you have this document understanding template, UiPath template based on the processing flow. It aims to offer the DU tool for execute as a single everything, right? What are the benefits? You get logging, you get exception handling, retry mechanism, everything is done in that template for you, right? Now, what are the things which you need to have to work on that? You need to have the studio version of 21.4.4 or higher. In case you want to use the DU template in your UiPath Studio, you need to have 21.4.4. But let's say I am in the enterprise edition and I am in, let's say, 2019 or 2020 something. Can I use this framework? The answer is yes, but then you have to use this GitHub URL of UiPath where you can just download the Studio template and use it in your old version of UiPath Studio. And the third option definitely is you start with the flowchart, you drag and drop the activities, add the dependencies, and you create the automations, right? So this is what the template is available for you from 21.4.4. So just try to read it. It's the year is 2021 and the April release, right? Okay. So in that process, you have an architecture which is decoupled for connected automation, which means that it does not matter where the files are coming from. And it also does not matter where you are going to give the output. So this DU template is just a piece of automation which is going to take a data, do the document understanding, processing, everything, and give you the output. Now, all you have to do is whenever you have a bigger automation, let's say which is built on robotics enterprise framework, you take this XAML, you take this data, and you can infuse it into your bigger part of the automations, right? So this is just a decoupled connected automation solution for you to just do the complete document processing and use it in the different automation. And it's built on flowchart. It's not using the state machines. The other thing which you guys need to remember is that this framework template works for both attended as well as an unattended. If you're talking about the unattended, it will use the action center. If you're using the attended automation, you will simply get a form or it will create a task for you in the action center, right? It works for both attended and unattended. And this project works on the Visual Basic flavors, right? I think it would have been loaded. Let me go back. Okay, so I think there's some exception. I'll hit OK. Yeah. So this is my DU process template. I'll go to the project and you would see that there are two main files here. One is the main attended and one is the main action center. Now, why there are two? Now, I hope you guys understand that this is just a template for the document part. Let's talk about the action center and see. So both of them are exactly the same automation. The only thing changing is when it comes to the action center, it would be creating a task in the orchestrator, right? So if I just open any one of them, let's talk about this one. I'll just open that. Okay, I think it's not facing some issue. I might have deleted something. So let me create a new template. I'll say create. Okay, so it has both the things attended and unattended, right? Meanwhile, it is again creating. It takes some 3-4 minutes to load this solution. So meanwhile, I want to show you what exactly are the dependencies, right? Let's say in case you do not plan to use the DU template, what you can do is you can create a solution and you have to use these all dependencies. So what is happening in the background? My automation would be downloading UiPath.du ML activities, Excel activities, right? To do the Excel manipulation, read range and all the stuffs. Intelligent OCR, PDF activities to read the PDF, read PDF with OCR, system activities to read the data from file and folder, UI automation activities in case I require something, right? So whenever you use the document understanding process, it is going to download all these dependencies, right? And once that solution is ready, and that is also applicable if you create your new automation and you drag and drop, or sorry, you manually add these activities in your sequence or a flowchart or state machine. These are the activities you are going to see in your automation DU project, right? So as you can see, if I have to use the classifier, I have all these classifiers which we discussed. For actions, I have this, and these are the activities which are available for extractors, right? So you have extractors, you have classifiers, and you have the actions. All of that clubbed together into a thing which is called the document understanding. And all of this is part of my document understanding process. Now you can create a new, or you can use this guy as well as a built-in framework. Okay. So let me go back. Okay, so as you can see here, this is loaded now, and in the project, see the same set of activities I was talking about, intelligent activities, Excel, DU manipulation, all those activities are available. In the activities, you can scroll down and you would see all these activities which are available here for UI automation. What are the activities which are available? Can collapse this. And if I just go here and I say document understanding, you would see all these activities which are available for you. Okay. And the other thing is, in this template, you have two flowcharts. One is for the action center, another one is for the attended. If I open that, it is exactly the same thing. But the only difference would come when it comes to the creating of the human task, right? See, both of them exactly having the same structure more or less, right? Let's talk about the action center. So what happens in this template? It has already written a code for you where it reads the config file. So people who are coming from a background of robotics enterprise framework, config file gives you a place where you can get all these details, put all the data which you think can change in future. Same concept. But think of an automation where you have already used a RE framework and you have created it. You can just copy paste the data from this config file to your actual config file and pass the path, right? So as I told, this is just a template for you guys to copy paste, right? So what you do here, you go, you read the config file. The config file is again located in the project folder for you, data config.xlsx. It has all these sheets which are available for us to configure, right? If you want to use the same in your framework, just copy paste. So it will read the config, as I told that it is having the best practices. Exception handling already done. So first thing first, it will read the config where the file has to read, where do you need to store, everything is a part of config. Then here you have a flow chart. The first thing is initialize the process. If you read through the code, is absolutely simple. See, initialize the process is nothing but loading of the taxonomy, and loading of the taxonomy is nothing but here you have an activity which is called load taxonomy. Where is this taxonomy available? Whenever you include the intelligent document OCR activities, you get this guy which is called the taxonomy manager. I click on that, it will open a taxonomy manager for you. Same taxonomy manager where you have to define what are the kind of documents I have and what data I have to extract. If I am using a template, by default, UiPath is giving me some kind of documents here, which says that semi-structured, structured. Some of the documents it has already defined. So this is how the taxonomy look like, right? You have to just define what kind of fields you want to get. If I want to add more fields, I just click on this plus button, add more fields, and that will be added to my taxonomy, right? So in case you are not using this template, you just add the dependency, you go to the taxonomy manager, you define what data to extract, what kind of document, and then you use an activity which is called load taxonomy, and that will load the taxonomy and tell the DU solution that, hey, this is the solution which we want to use, right? So in the initialization scope, you simply go and you read the data, right? In case of any asset settings are required, same RE framework concepts, right? So not going into detail there. And guys, in case you are not aware of RE framework, please do refer RE framework, because if your RE framework concepts are clear, then these things would be very easy for you, right? Now, the next thing here is, sometime you might be using queue and sometime you might not be using queue. So this framework also take care of that. You just provide Are you using queue? Yes or no? If you're not, if you are using the queue, get the data from the queue using an activity called get transaction data. If you're not using the queue, directly go to this and provide the target file. See, target file, in target file, which is nothing but an argument here. So in case you provide in target file, which means that where is your file path? So I will provide here c colon data abc.pdf path. If I do not provide this, then it will be data taken from the queue, whichever queue name you have to provide here, right? So the end objective here for the DU framework is to get the file path. Once you have the file path, the next step is digitize. Open it. In the digitization, it would be validating, right? Whether it's a scanned PDF, it's a native PDF, and based on that, it would be doing the digitization. So here, retry scope already done. Digitized document, it is using the UiPath OCR. And here the digitized document is done, and it is also done the exception handling for you with the help of retry scope, right? Once the digitization is done, the next thing you will see here is the classification. All of that.
Hitesh, sorry to interrupt. I have one question. The
Can
target
we
file.
take the question in a moment, please? Let me just finish.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So once the digitization is done, after that, we have to come to something which is called the classify stage. This is again a sequence where you just say what classifier you want to use. And the best part is you would see that you are given the steps here, what to do and what not to do, right? So again, exception handling is done. You can use the classifier. It is using only one classifier, which is the intelligent keyword classifier. And then you can use the other classifier as well. Now you might be thinking where these details will get for the classifier. What would be the API key? What would be the endpoint? All of that setting is available in your config file, which is in the in config, right? So now you just think if you are creating a own document understanding framework, you have to make sure that your endpoints, this path URL, the folder path, the API key is all stored in a place which is configurable, because the keys would be different for different environment, production, testing, development. So as RP developer, if you create that, you have to think all of that, that where I would keep the key and everything. You can do that, obviously, yes. But if you use this, all of this setting is by default done by the this framework for you, which is called the DU template, right? And if you just keep going here, the same thing happens. Classify, do you get the classification result? Is the flag successful? If it is false, you go here. If it is not, you go here, and then you end the process. The same if I go for the attended, this one was for unattended, where it is going to action center. In the attended one, it is going to have the same flow. See, exactly the same thing, right? So all you have to do is right click, copy this, take it to your inbound, which is the other kind of an automation which you might have written, and you can just invoke this part. All you have to do is see the arguments. All this thing require is whether you are using the queue or not. If you are using the queue, it is going to get the data from the queue, or you might have an automation where all the data is already downloaded into a folder. So you would say for each file in this folder, provide the in target path, and this guy is going to do the document understanding for you, right? So this is what is called a DU template. Okay. I'll quickly open back my slide, and many of you, I see that some of the questions here were about this licensing as well, right? So how does the licensing work, right? So licensing has to cover the components. So first of all, you would require an automation developer license in order to build the studio licenses, right? The second thing is you require attended or unattended robot, right? If I'm going for the action center, then I would require the unattended robot licensed in my orchestrator. Then you would require an enterprise pro trial license, automation suite with all of that, and then you would require the AI units. Now, what exactly is this AI units? Whenever you are using the ML kind of extractor, you are charged with the help of something which is called AI units. How does this work? This is where it shows, right? So AI units are the license unit consumption for the project, including the DU, or if you're using any other AI center capabilities, the concept of the AI center is now available for you. So AI center unit consumption happen in the digitization, classification, extractor, and in the validation, right? So all these are the four stages, main stages which we talk about. So if you see, when you are validating, humans in the loop. It is just showing you in the action center. No use of AI. So it says that there is no AI unit consumed here, right? In the digitization, you may use the OCR engine, which also does not take care of the so OCR engine is different, right? So OCR is connected with the help of your keys, API key of the OCR. So that does not also consume the AI unit. So digitization in the first stage, let me just highlight what I'm talking here. So the use of OCR does not take AI units, although it might require a document understanding license for the OCR, right? So it's in case you plan to use Abby, so you need to have a license of Abby, Azure and all, but in terms of AI units, it won't consume. Classification, where you have to classify whether it's a invoice pure on. Here you are going to utilize the AI units, and also in the extraction, that what data you are extracting, and it is the consumption which is mentioned here. So AI consumption for the documents with more than 24 pages. I have some examples, so that will give you more idea that how this consumption happen. But for information, digitization, it will use the OCR engines, whichever you have used the license. Validation uses action center, so no need of license here. Classification, extraction, you are going to have the AI license consumption. Example, right? So a customer has 3-page document, right? So for which they are using the regex based extractor and the form based extractor. Regex is a free, you have just used the regex for email ID. Form extractor applied to 3 pages, 3 into 0.2, 0.6 units. In this example, 0.6 AI unit would be charged for a 3-page document, right? So this and this, right? So all of this information is available in the UiPath document as well. But the idea of letting you guys know is that AI consumption happens whenever you are using the classification and the extraction, and not every extraction, right? Such as regex, you are not going to get charged, right? But if you are planning to use the ML extractor, then it is going to charge you the ML units, right? The last slide for my today's presentation is the DU use cases, which you guys can relate to, right? Absolutely basic use cases. So invoice processing automation, high volume of manual processing, prone to errors, any site. So I have just mentioned manufacturing, it can be any sector, right? Implement document understanding, extract the information, what would happen, minimize the error, improve the efficiency. Insurance claim processing, claim forms which are coming, there is a backlog of all the claim forms. It can be any department of insurance where it is claim processing, renewal of the documents. Deploy the DU model, extract the information and do the processing. Legal documents review, right? Time consuming legal documents, which is having a lot of legal data. You want to extract some information, reduce all of that, right? You can manage, read it, right? HR document, corporate, difficulty in managing, extracting insight from large volume of resumes. Compliance, finance, right? And the best part is, till this point, I have not included the generative AI features which are available in the DU as well. All of this is only the AI and this, right? But with the newest edition, you have the generative AI capabilities also introduced in the document understanding framework or the template, which make it more and more easier for the developer and increasing the scope of the automations, right? So that was my last slide. I can go back to the beginning, to the page where you guys can just scan the links and everything, right? And I'll take a pause and let's take the questions now, right? Okay. Mm, mm, mm. Hey, Vino, Rohit, you're still here? Okay.
Hey Mukesh.
Hey, Vino. So, Vino, you managed to take the answer, so I'll stop the sharing, guys. Or you want us to go through the questions? I'll just stop the sharing. Okay. Fine, guys. So I see a lot of questions on the chat. Can you please share the PPT file? It would be available on the same link where you have registered, right? It will have all the things, right? Okay, so does classification takes, okay, so Vino has answered a lot of questions, right? So can you share the WhatsApp group link? Okay. WhatsApp group link. I don't have it handy. Aishwarya, can you just maybe drop me an email, right? I'll reply to that. I'll drop my email ID here, or you can just message me on LinkedIn, right? I should be able to reply you that, because I don't have the group handy. I just have this QR available with me, right? So guys, if you have any questions for us, you can just unmute and ask yourself, right? I have put my LinkedIn details, guys. You can just message me. I'll directly provide you the link there. And just a request, guys, if you like this session, please post about this on the LinkedIn, tag me, Vino, Rohit, other speaker, and see you tomorrow, right? So yeah, can you show the QR again, right? So Vino, can you just answer a question for me? What exactly is the AI unit? Meanwhile, I just open the presentation again.
Yeah, sure, Mukesh.
Yeah.
So, right in this year, UiPath has brought up a concept for AI unit. So this is in order to track your license consumption. So previously we had a concept of AI robots, in which number of AI robots you have. Uh, Depending on that, the license was consumed. So right now it is more like a consumptional based model. So that's why we have AI units. Now that's why we need to have a AI units. Now what is exactly AI unit? So whenever you do certain activity, right, in your document understanding. So in today's session, you actually looked up on what is the classification, what are the extraction. And whenever you do certain classification and certain extraction, there is certain level of AI units that is consumed, right? For example, if you do a intelligent keyword classification, there is a certain amount of AI unit that is getting consumed, right? And whenever you do certain extraction, there is some consumption of that. So the idea here is you have a kind of AI unit bundle that you have brought for your entire use case. Now, while your robot is on production, while you're solving this DU, your document understanding problem, whenever you do your classification or your extraction or certain DU activities, uh, that sense of licenses will be getting consumed as part of AI units.
Great.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
question. So since you're saying when we are using the DU framework, the AI units are consumed, right? When we are talking with Gen AI and document understanding in the orchestrator, how the AI units are consumed?
Yeah, right now the Gen AI is part of private preview. There is not kind of licensing that I came up for that. So, but eventually there will be a licensing plan. So you're talking about the Gen AI predict capability whenever you're
Exactly.
doing that data labeling, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So eventually that will come up, and also that will be associated with the the level of consumables you're doing for your data labeling task.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so you
A
can unmute
question,
yourself and ask your questions, right?
a question from my
So
side.
Okay, I had a question. Okay, you.
Yeah, actually, we're trying to when you're using this digitized document scope, I could see there is one OCR, UiPath OCR you have been added. So how can I toggle, like I don't want that OCR means I can't remove, because when I tried in my PC, we don't add any OCR instance, that is throwing an error. The activity is throwing an error. So how can I toggle whether we can use OCR or I don't want to use OCR?
So well,
okay, yeah, we know. Go ahead.
okay, yeah, I can take up that.
Yeah.
So well, there are certain OCRs that are free to use, and well, there are certain OCRs that you have to pay. For example, if you are using Microsoft Cloud Vision, you have to pay that. You have to purchase that, the Cloud Vision from the Azure service. And if you have that subscription with you, you can remove the your document OCR, and you can plug in that Cloud
No.
Vision or Google Cloud Vision you want.
No, actually, my question is, see, if I'm trying to digitize a native text document, so I don't want to use that OCR itself. So how can I toggle? Is there any options in this digitize activity so that I can use OCR or disable the OCR?
Okay,
I am
so
talking about.
yeah, okay, let me share my screen. I think I got your question, right? We know. Let me just. So you are able to see my screen, right?
Yeah, we are
Here.
able to see your screen. Yeah.
So this one, right? You don't want this, right?
No, no, no. Can you please open that? Yeah,
Yeah,
open the
yeah,
digitized document.
yeah.
Okay, remove that. Yeah, remove that UiPath document. Yeah. Now you can see that at least one OCR engine should be provided.
Yeah.
So in that case, when we are using this native text documents, we don't want this OCR.
So
And
you don't require this activity itself, right? Then.
how it will digitize the document? Okay, automatically. How
Yeah,
it will
it
fetch it?
just read PDF, right? It will say read PDF text, and you, so if you don't want it at all, right? So you can just use an if activity and just mention a false condition here, right? If false, like this, right?
Okay.
That's it. It will never go into this. So I just mentioned a condition, but you understood the concept, right?
Yeah, I
And then,
understood the concept.
yeah,
So it's not mandatory that every whatever you have mentioned, the 7 steps, that everything should not be in a line.
yeah,
Like
that's what, yeah,
if anyone
yeah,
is skipped, that doesn't matter. It will work.
yeah. All
Okay.
it require is the what exactly is
Input
the
data,
output which you require, right? Yeah,
input data and output data.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I have one more question. Since when we are using the DU framework, right, all our packages are downloaded automatically. But when you're coming to the normal process where you need to install the packages, so I faced an issue recently when I'm installing the 6.14.1 version. It was throwing errors, but when I come to 6.9.3 version, the previous versions were stable. Uh, so I couldn't understand what was the issues with the recent versions.
So I think it's a compatible issue in that case, right? So which version of Studio you are using and which package you are utilizing, right? So I think it's a compatible. But if you use the latest version, it worked, right? Because see, if I can see checked immediately, which I am using, right? So I'm using 6.5.0. It works for me, right? And I'm using the community edition 23.8, right? So it entirely depends on which version of UiPath Studio you have and what dependency you are trying to upload it, right? So
I'm using the Enterprise 2023.10.0.
2023.10 enterprise. Okay.
Yes.
And is it compatible with the version which you are trying to use, old one?
The old one was very good. Yeah, I could get the output,
Mhm.
but the 14.1, I haven't got any results. I raised an issue in the community forum. Sadly, I couldn't get any details,
But
but
if
yeah.
you have a enterprise license, you can, I think, directly, no need to go to the community forum, right? You can directly raise it to your, what do you call, UiPath support.
Okay, but I wanted to know what people have tried.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We know any insights which you want to add that why that might happen.
So your previous version of your package, right? Was it based on Windows or Windows Legacy?
It's Windows.
Windows, right? So ideally, it should be compatible when you're using the latest one, because going forward, the Windows Legacy will be kind of deprecated. So I will suggest that, since you have that forum link, you can just forward me that. I will take a look, but it is mostly a compatible issue with maybe the
Yeah.
latest version. And the
Yes.
best place, you can, if you want a very priority one, to put it up into a support since you are using the enterprise.
Sure.
Great. Guys, you can just unmute yourself and ask the questions because I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mukesh, Shailesh this side.
Yes, Alish.
So my question is like that you have shown that document understanding template something.
Yeah.
So if I having an enterprise edition and I
Hmm.
need to install that template and
Hmm.
work on that, so does I require the AI units and all?
In case you are using the AI capabilities, so yes, you would require the AI units.
Okay, and for that we need to get a license, na?
Yes, yes, AI units is a license based. Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So
Hi,
basically, yeah,
Mukesh.
unit comes up with some bundles.
Yeah.
The minimum is at 60K bundles. So you have to purchase that.
Yeah. Thank you, Vinu.
Hi, Mukesh. Sanjit
Hey,
here. I have a quick question around my use case. So I have a claims automation use case. So basically, I receive claims on a particular inbox. So how do I create a trigger that, say for example, when I receive a email on that particular inbox, I just
Hmm.
want to trigger my bot and then um, look into the documents attached to that email and
Yeah.
then do this classification.
Two ways to do it. The first one is write a robot polling, which is going taking every 5 minutes, no invoice, right? Older way of doing it.
Mhm.
The other way is use integration service where you have directly created an API of Office 365. As soon as the email lands, it creates a trigger. So answer to your question is integration service, Office 365 APIs.
Okay, cool, cool. On continuation to that, I think someone have already asked a question. So some of the email might have, native PDFs. So I beforehand, I don't know whether it is a handwritten or OCR based or native. So how do I classify? Because I can't pre-configure the document type, right? So is there any solution for that?
See why you want to do that, right? So idea is simple. If the digitize activity is there and if you passed, okay, so I want you to do one thing, right? Go back and pass one document which is native, pass one document which is a scanned one. Scanned one will get output. If you pass the native document also, you will get the same output. So
Yeah, same
that's
same output.
yeah.
Okay, got it, got it.
If you want to add something,
Yeah, so also you get this option called apply OCR,
apply
right?
OCR on PDF. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can like if your use case is completely native, you can set that as no.
Off.
But let's say you're dealing with your combination scanned as well as native, you can toggle the yes.
Okay, got it. Makes sense. Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, we know. Actually, I was about to ask that one. Apply OCR. Where is that particular toggle is available? Is it available in which activity?
On digitize document.
Okay, I had a question regarding that there are multiple PDFs right now lined up in the queue. So how should, because the DU framework will only take one PDF and then I have to trigger the bot again. So how should I do this particular task that in the RE framework that it takes all the items from the queue. So I want to take that kind of functionality and put it into DU. So how should I do that?
Okay, Vinu, you want me to take that?
Yeah, Mukesh, please.
Okay. So in your this thing, right? In your use case, you have this DU template has something which is called in transaction item, which is nothing but your queue item. So in your RE framework, where you are getting the data from the queue, it would be using the get transaction item, right? And the output would be a queue item. Now you have two ways to do it. From the queue item, you can extract the path of the file, keep it in a variable, and pass that variable to this flow. The second way is whatever you get the queue item, directly pass this to the queue item, because both this attended and unattended XAMLs has two properties. Either you can pass the file name or you can pass the queue item.
Okay, so I need to integrate these both now. Like in the RE framework, I need to call this DO template. So
Yes, you
then,
can just directly copy paste the XAMLs also.
okay. So that way, in that way, I can call the functionalities of the RE framework also use.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
We know you're on mute if you speaking.
Sorry, can
Yeah.
I ask one more?
Yeah.
So this is not related to the framework. So I have tried one ML skill that is a sentiment analysis. So what if when we are getting all the positive, negative, neutral comments, what if you get a true negative and a false positive predictions, and how are you going to deal with those things?
Yeah, this is completely Mukesh, can I take this one? Yeah, so this is kind of an NLP use case, right?
Yeah.
Where you're getting completely a result that you're not expecting, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so always there is a feedback loop. You can get ahead and you can retrain your model. I believe with your NLP, with your sentiment analysis, using the data labeling feature which we recently have, right? You have an option to retrain your ML model as well.
I think the sentiment analysis is not retrainable.
Okay, so if it is not retrainable, then the best way to deal with is to put a human validation task. So whenever you have a low confidence score in that, you can put it onto an action center so that human can validate them.
Okay, so just I dealt with only 100 rows, but what in future if I get some lakhs rows? That is what my problem was. I thought like before submitting the report, I thought let's just deal with some columns and depending on the score, maybe we can just put it as a positive. If my score is more than 5 or 7 or 8, okay, let's consider it as a positive thing. But later I thought how it's going to work, because lots of records will not be possible with those things.
Yeah. So the way this NLP, whenever you're dealing with such use cases, right, there will be kind of trade-off where you have to agree with, right? So confidence is one of those parameters. If it is some other model, you can, find, you can get up some other arguments, and using those arguments, you can make up, you can come up with some decisions with your business that, if it is crossing or if it is not matching up to the business rule, you can put up to a validation.
Okay, because I haven't tried it. I put a hold on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely try. Thanks.
Yeah, hello. I have also a question. Like when I was trying to make a program in DU, so I have some handwritten checks and I need to extract MICR numbers. So I tried low taxonomy activity, digitize documents and classifier. So how can I identify the which kind of keywords I should provide in classifier? Because that is a point where I was facing some issues. I
Yeah.
hope, yeah.
Mukesh, you want to take that?
Yeah, I just I was replying to the chat, so I didn't heard that question. Can you just reframe that question for me? Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, my question is when we use DU, so how we can identify which kind of keywords we should use in classifier, uh, what to say, in classifier. I mean, that was the point where I was facing
Okay.
some issue. Yeah.
Okay, so if I understand your question, so see, the answer is simple, right? So you need to know what are the variances of the documents which you can receive, right? So for example, the example I was showing you, right? In that the email was available as email, and sometime it was available as email ID. Sometime it can be available as email address, right? So all those becomes your variances. So you should be knowing that, right? Is that the
Okay.
question?
Yeah,
If I
yeah, yeah.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay.
one more thing, how to train any document using DU.
Train
I
as in
mean,
I
I
didn't get. Yeah.
mean, I mean, I heard from my seniors we can train any document using DU. So how we can do that?
You mean the taxonomy manager, that what kind of data we want to extract? Is that you mean?
We use AI also in DU. So with the help of AI, we can train any document. Is it like that?
Yeah, we have the retraining module and the training module available. But
Okay.
what exactly you want to achieve after that, right? That's the question. Sorry if I'm
Yeah.
not able to get that.
And actually, there were some handwritten checks. So we need to extract MICR numbers from the check. So when I was using a UiPath document OCR, so that is coming, but that number is not, stable. It is changing its position. So I tried, but that was not accurate. So I tried another way, but that approach was not good. So that after that, how can we train? So this is I want to understand.
I think that's a training model of your again. It's a training of your AI model. If you want to add, because I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. So basics, that Mukesh
Yeah.
covered up today, it comes up to the very basic of that. Since if it has a lot of variation, your checks, obviously it will be a semi-structured document, right? Then you need to go up with some machine learning model. You have to look up some for out-of-box model if you already have. You can leverage that. Then you get an option to train that model based on your data set, right? Now that's where you create your project in AI center. You do your data labeling, you create your ML skill, all that comes into picture,
Okay.
right? And once you have that ML skill created, you can use that in your extraction.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. This is Abhishek.
Hi, Abhishek.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. So, sir, I have a question. Sir, I was training a model, and I am getting an error like division by zero. The means data training is failed, and the reason is it is failed due to division by zero error. So, what is the reason behind that?
This
Okay.
one is very generic,
Yeah.
right?
Have you
Uh,
seen the UiPath forum for it, right? So if you just search
Sir,
this in UiPath forum, it's yeah.
I have tried that, but I did not get the exact problem behind that. Like it is because of my data means the documents are low in number, means I have to train more documents. This is the reason behind that or something else?
yeah,
I
I will take up that. So
hmm,
tomorrow, right, in our session, I will
hmm,
show you one place where called document manager. So let it will, you need to give your input, like what are the document type you're training on, number of fields you want to train, number of custom fields you want to train, and depending on that, it will give you one recommendation, 60 to 100 or 300 to 400, and you need to give those number of sample set for training, right?
Okay.
Right.
Okay, sir.
By that you can get one suggestion. That will be number one. And number two will be, you get into your use case, then you know what are the document types you're dealing with, number of documents you want to extract. Then you see, how many number of documents you're putting in for training, right?
Okay, okay.
okay. So guys, just a quick request in
Hey
case
Mukesh,
yeah,
I also have a question.
yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah,
So I
Mukesh,
just want
consider
to
the
make an
scenario
announcement that yeah.
where we use the document understanding template
Mm-hmm.
in Studio. And as you mentioned, there are two XAML files as Action Center and the other one, the attended board XAML as well.
Hmm.
So if I am going to use the XAML, either of them, using any third-party project or any other UiPath project, what are the things that I should keep in mind when I am invoking the workflow, such as the dependencies, arguments, and actually I missed those part. Like, could you please let me know
Hey,
that in brief?
it's as simple as that, right? So for example, if you already have a project, right, and you copy paste the files, right, all you require is the dependencies and the input sources. That's it, right? So for example, if you are using something from config, the config object should be created. So that's so technically, if I ask you, just have to copy paste the XAML. It has two input arguments. You need to pass the input arguments and the config should be placed. Now, if you are using RE framework where config is already there, you need to make sure that you copy paste the content of this config and make it available in your config, or you read this from a different location, right? So that's entirely depends on your automation. But to answer, it should be dependencies, activities, any file path if that is used. Yeah, that's it. I think that should be enough.
Sounds good.
Hi,
Thank you.
yeah, hi Mukesh, this is Bhaskar here.
Yeah, Oscar.
Right now, I'm using Community Edition. I export the DU. Whenever running, 10 documents, I train it. I twice run it. Is there any how the AI units consume? Because the Community Edition they given 600 units, right?
600.
Yeah, it's already I mean, I made the 600 units. How I need to understand same document it will reduce the AI units or else different documents.
So we know, correct me, right? If I'm passing the same document 10 times, it is going to use the 10 times, right? It's not like that I have used it once, so it won't work, right? So
Yeah.
even for it's a consumption, right? It's just a consumption.
Okay, it will
Hi,
consume the
Mukesh.
AI units, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it will. It will.
Thank you.
Hi, Mukesh. Can I address the question too?
Hey, hi, Monica.
Yes. So when I'm using document understanding workflow, and for the development part, using that validation station, I can use that part of resulted output. Okay, to
Mhm.
extract the validation station effective output. So how can I use that output in order to improve my ML package? How can I manage to do that?
So you have the training activities available.
Okay, so I just have to add a
Yes.
training activity, and
Yes.
the output of that resulted validation station.
We'll go to there. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Awesome. Okay, guys, so I think we have covered a lot of questions. And if you have any more questions remaining, we would be having the session in the next 4 days as well. So feel free to join. And yes, it was good to have you. A lot of good questions. Guys, if you like this session, please post about it on the LinkedIn, tag Vino, myself, Rohit, and happy to host you tomorrow as well, right? So, Vino, any closing words?
No, it was a great session by you, Mukesh. I mean, it covered all the basics that was really needed for the day one,
Yeah.
and we have lot many more insights and more practical session coming up. So we'll request everyone to register if not already,
Yeah.
and be active all throughout this series. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.